Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for liking and subscribing. Today I'm going to be answering some questions on my time in USA, obtaining a soccer scholarship to play in the college soccer system, and then making the next step into the professional game. If you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe and share this video around, and I'll see you very soon. So a lot of people at 17 or 18 ask themselves what is the next step for them. They've either tried to maybe get into the professional game and it hasn't quite worked out, or they're playing local football and they really want to take that next step. So for myself it was going over to play in USA. So I was asked some questions recently that I want to answer, which hopefully will give you a little bit of knowledge about the experiences going over to America and if it's possible to step into the professional game from there. So the first question I was asked was, how did you get over to USA? So at 18, I was lucky enough to be playing in a game where there was some college coaches watching. They'd been invited over from my coach at the time to watch the game. We were a successful program and they decided to take over some players from my team. So I ended up going over to USA, to North Carolina, a university called Wingate University, which is a Division II team, a really successful program, national champions recently. So I went over with 4 other players from Newcastle, and the previous year there'd been 4 other players as well. So there was 8 players in total at the at Wingate University, which was great for me to be able to settle in. It was something that is a lot easier for myself than maybe some of the players who have to go into a completely new system with new people. We kind of integrated really nicely, and we were already a team, so we were always going to have some success on the pitch. The second question was, what is the standard like? Pitches, facilities, and the standard in general. So the facilities to start with were amazing. You know, the pitches were better than majority of pitches at home, and now to this day in the professional game, I think the pitches over in America are so well looked after that they're a lot better than some of the pitches here. The facilities in general, you know, the gym was amazing. We had a great clubhouse. We were really well looked after. Nutrition wise, we were always kept up to date with what the best things to eat and drink were. We were always given protein and looked after. There was massages 24 hours really, and this was one of the things that we were really lucky to have that kept us at the top of our game. The standard in players, you know, you're playing with players all over the world. In our team we had Brazilians, Chileans, you know, a lot of different Europeans. So it was really good to test yourself against those players. I remember our first session there, we were playing 5-a-side against 5 different Brazilians, and that's when it really sunk in, you know, this wasn't going to be easy. We thought we were good players going over there, and I think at about 7-0 down in 5-a-side, we thought maybe we're going to have to work harder to get our places in this team. So it was a good wake-up call, but overall pitches, facilities, everything was really, really good. Third question, would you recommend playing in the USA college system if you don't sign professional at 18? So for me, 100% I would recommend going over to USA, not only for the football side of things, but the way that you can fall back on a degree if football doesn't work out for you is something that's really important, especially for myself. I think being able to have your studies on the side is extremely important. You can do a degree in anything you kind of want, so it's one of those things that it's a no-brainer. You know, you get to play football, you get to experience a professional-like system, playing all the time with training and good nutrition and being looked after like a pro, but also get to do your studies at the same time. And it might not be everyone's cup of tea, going over and having to do, you know, your classes and work hard and keep both sides of things up, but it makes you a better person in general. And at the end of it, if football doesn't work out, then you have a degree which you can go in and you have advisors that can help you get into a job and really sort you out for your future in life. Do you have to be a Division I athlete to go pro? I would say definitely 100% no, that is not the case. Obviously, if you're in a top 10 program, you're going to have a lot of eyes on you. That's just something that comes with playing in a big school. I was playing in the 2nd division in university. We would play a lot of Division 1 programs, majority of the time beat them. So It's not necessarily on your skill level, but the size of the school that defines whether you're a Division 1 or Division 2 program. A lot of Division 1 programs are amazing. You know, ended up in my 4th year as a senior transferring to East Tennessee State University, which was a Division 1 program. Amazing experience again, facilities unbelievable, great stadium, and then I ended up signing professional after that. Did it help that I went into a Division 1 program? I'm not 100% sure. I don't necessarily think the standard was that different from my team in Division 2. Obviously in some teams there is a big difference, but in this one, for me, there wasn't a huge difference. Maybe the only thing that I would say was that the squad in general was a little bit better in Division 1. You know, the lower end of the squad was a little bit better than the lower end of the squad in Division 2. So the question, do you have to be a Division 1 athlete to go pro? Definitely not. I have lots of friends who have played in the 2nd division who are now playing professional, and so that would be a definite no. You don't have to be a Division 1 athlete. What I would say is that if you do go into Division 2, don't be downhearted. You know, NAIA, anything. You know, it's always good to be offered a scholarship. It's always good to be in one of these programs. So work hard, be the best that you can be, and you know, you might get that move into the Division 1, or you might go professional. You know, it's always about having eyes on you, doing the best you can, being the best in your team. So the 5th question, what do you recommend for a freshman going into college soccer, sorry. For me, going in, not having a big head, I definitely went over thinking that I was going to be better than some players, which just wasn't the case. You know, people are experienced, they've been around 4 or 5 years, 22, 23-year-olds. They know how to play the college game. It's a different game than what you might be used to in high school or in your local football. So going in, working hard, I know it sounds very stereotypical, but getting on your nutrition early. I didn't look after my body anywhere as well as I should have. I wish I'd known at 16 or 17 that I needed to start really looking at my nutrition and my strength training, because when I got out there, I was too skinny. I wasn't built enough, I wasn't strong enough to be ready to play in that first collegiate game. So looking after yourself early, getting in, doing extra, always trying to do more and more and more, okay? There's never a time where people can say that you shouldn't do extra. I think it took me until probably my junior year to really realise that I needed to be doing a lot more than what I was doing. Staying after training, you know, going to the coach's office, asking for tips, asking for what they want from you. You know, the only way you're going to be able to play in these games is if your coaches are happy with you. So you want to understand the game from their point of view, listen to what they're telling you, speak to your teammates, speak to the older players, see what they've done right and what they've done wrong. You know, learn from everyone's different mistakes. So there would be some tips definitely for a freshman going in to a system. And also, don't be downhearted, you know, if you're not starting in your first few games, okay? It's a process at the end of the day. When I first came over to America, my first 4 or 5 games, I wasn't in the starting lineup, and now I've been a professional for 4 years. So don't be downhearted, even if you're redshirted, if you're walking onto a team, okay? Just be prepared for anything. You know, you might come on for 20 minutes, and that's when you have to show yourself. So don't be downhearted, be prepared for anything that comes your way, and you'll be fine. So number 6, if you're not so good at school, can you still play in the USA or get a scholarship? So school's very important, you know, whilst you're in university, as you know, you've got to keep up a grade point average to be able to play. It's important to try and get on as well as you can with your studies at the start. Having better grades, can give you more of a scholarship. For instance, we did the SATs at quite a late date before we went over to America. So if you can get them in early, study well for them, then it can be really helpful on obtaining more scholarship for your coach to give you, and make it maybe cheaper or free for you to go over to America. So it's definitely worthwhile doing well in your studies if you can. Even if you're not so great at school, really practicing for those SATs is important. Number 8, advice on trying to go professional after college. So, like I said before, if you're in a top 10 program, you've got eyes all over you. And if you're not, then that's when you have to market yourself, okay? getting your name out there early is really important, okay? Speaking to as many people as possible. My partner at the moment, Jobs for Football, are creating a platform for players who are coming out of university, who maybe don't have that transfer market which the professional players have, and they don't have that platform, and they really need to get their name out there. So that's something that you can look into, you know, building an online platform for yourself. Speaking to agents or coaches or anything, you, obviously as an NCAA athlete you can't sign with an agent, but there's no harm in speaking to them, you know, getting your name out there. If there's a chance to go and play or train with a professional team, go and do it. I know a lot of teams offer open tryouts and they charge a lot of money. Maybe that's not for you. I think speaking to coaches, if you're doing well in your team, sending video, constantly making video of yourself to market yourself is so important. It's something that I didn't do. So if I'd known that as a freshman, sophomore, I would have started getting my clips early, you know. I think that's really important. So getting your name out there is really important, and just being open to whatever's going to come, you know. Not everything falls into your hands. You're not going to go and sign potentially in your dream club, you know. If you're American, you might not get that move that you want. So being open to go to different places. I decided to sign in Denmark after my college career, so that was something that I wasn't sure on, but I took the opportunity, and it's made me a better player and a person because of that. What is the level like compared to the professional level? So in college, I think that the level, it's good, you know, Division 1 and top Division 2 programs, that it's a good level. If you've got a good coach, then, you know, it's like anywhere. If your training's good, the level's quite good. So the difference then compared to the professional game would be, for me, it was one touch faster, and it doesn't seem a lot, okay? One touch, okay, it doesn't seem like, oh, you have to take things one touch faster. One touch is a lot, okay? It's like in a 100-meter sprint, saying 1 second isn't a lot for these professional sprinters. One touch for me was massive, and it took me about 3 months really to get the pace of what that level was like. So another thing would be fitness levels, okay? I thought I was fit going into the professional game, and I wasn't. All these players, they're athletes, they're good, they don't have any downfalls, okay? And in the college game, you can hit people's weaknesses. There might be one player who's weaker on the other team that the coaches say target him. That's not the case when it comes to the professional game. You know, everyone's a good player, everyone has a basic sound technique, everyone's fit, otherwise they won't be on the pitch. So that would be my main advice, would be stay fit in your off season. It's only 3.5 months long, the season, so or 4 months in America, whereas you're going over this 10-month period as a professional. So staying fit, being ready to be able to go head to head with these players is really key, because when you're a player coming out from the college system, going into the professional game, it's not easy to go and take these players who are seasoned pros. It's not easy to take their position, so you've got to be fitter and stronger than them if you want to have a chance, okay? Fitness levels, massive. And the last question was, how do I get to being a pro, or how do I get over to college? So obviously 2 different scenarios there. Going over to the college system isn't easy, you know, getting a scholarship isn't easy. It's not something that you just get handed. So anyone who needs some advice or some help, please follow me on Instagram, direct message me. I try to get back to as many people as possible on that. And also for the pro side of things, if you're needing some help on trying to maybe make that move into the professional game, then please feel free to give me a message. Available anytime on Instagram. Give me that direct message and I'll see if I can help. Like I said, get as many clips as you can, get a CV written for yourself. Recommendations, really, really important from coaches. It's just so important to get all this feedback, to get all this video. So get that out to me, and I'll try and help as much as possible. I appreciate everyone listening in, and if anyone has any more questions, like I said, please feel free to get in touch. Please like and subscribe, share this video around. Hopefully it's helped, and I'll see you guys very soon for the next video. Thanks guys.